First, I'd like to wish you a nice month. March seems to be very different from February. Planets are changing signs. We have a nice new moon, but there are also some red dates that we have to pay attention to. I have a more detailed description of March in my previous video regarding Ukraine and Russia conflict, which also gives some dates that I think they might be important for some people. Before I go to predictions, you understand that I'm taking a risk trying to predict Bitcoin monthly. As you know, we don't have the location of the chart, so I cannot see the whole picture. If, for example, a planet is crossing Bitcoin's ascendant and so on. But even if I did, it doesn't mean that my predictions will be totally correct. I don't think that any forecast is 100% right. With my previous prediction for February, I was correct a few times, but I was also wrong. I was correct at the beginning of the month that Bitcoin will start going up, and especially on the 10th of the month, that it had quite a big fall there. But I was wrong around the 16th because I believe that the nice aspect from Jupiter to Uranus will go up at that time. But no, it went down. The last week of February, the nice aspect from Jupiter to Bitcoin Sun was quite favorable. So I guess I have to mention that I'm not a financial astrologer or advisor, and I'm not going to be held responsible for any of your decisions. My next video will be for the future of Bitcoin, and I believe that I can see a more clearly picture of what's going on in the future, especially around 23 and 2024, when the whole economy will transform. Actually, I believe it will transform into something very different and more fair for the people. And that's when Pluto enters Aquarius. We never experience in our lives Pluto in Aquarius, and that will be very interesting. I will cover Pluto on my next video, but Pluto is the planet for global economy, banks, financial institutions, and more. March is an interesting month for Bitcoin. In progressions, the moon square Bitcoin Sun. This could mean that for the next couple of months, it could be confusion or unresolved situations. We can also see this confusion with a square to Neptune. This coincides with the Saturn quincunx to Bitcoin's Saturn, also effective in the next period. Although it's a minor aspect, I consider it very important. It looks like that something like the structure of Bitcoin is changing. I could think of a possible scenario is that the government will focus on regulations around this time. It could end up being a never-ending story because this aspect repeats again in December. So they probably not make a decision right now. I don't know, but it's a bit confusing. Two things I like about the next period. First is the ongoing favorable aspect from Uranus to Bitcoin. You can see it on the map with the green line, which that means that for the next couple of months, we will see more innovation, new ideas, maybe a lot of news. It's a very good transit for solving problems, but it could also mean more adoption. I don't want to get political, but maybe Russia, with all these sanctions, we can see more adoption in crypto. The other is a favorable transit of North Node to Bitcoin Saturn. This could mean that limitations and restrictions are lifted. Bitcoin is strong. It's like Bitcoin is fulfilling its destiny. By the way, if you see Bitcoin's natal chart video, you realize how strong Bitcoin's nature is. It's really unstoppable, and I'm not kidding. I think if Bitcoin was a person, he could eat Putin for breakfast or any other person of your choice. The other two important transits this month is Saturn conjunct to Bitcoin's Neptune, which this is actually a reality check, and Pluto conjunct Bitcoin's Jupiter later. This could mean many things, but there is a strong need to be big in the world. I hope all this makes sense to you. These two planets are wealth planets, but also Jupiter shows our fame and reputation and what we believe in. The aspect of Pluto and Jupiter could mean gaining more power, but sometimes it's different. This aspect is not exact yet. It will be exact right before Pluto enters Aquarius. A good opportunity for Bitcoin is in store with the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction the second and the third week of the month. The beginning of the month, we have a nice new moon in Pisces, which is actually favorable for Bitcoin with a nice sextile that shows opportunities. But actually for March, I don't see many aspects that show a big increase in price. I believe April will be better. When I mentioned before good news, I don't only mean good news that will affect immediately the price of Bitcoin. Anyway, in the first week of March, we have a conjunction of Mercury with Neptune's Bitcoin, which means that there could be a lot of misinformation flying around this time. From the 7th or 8th of the month, around these days, the price, there are some nice aspects, so the price could go up, but there is a big chance that there will be a correction from the 9th until the 11th, probably due to sudden events or news. Around the 16th, it's a bit confusing, but there are some difficult aspects until the 25th and 26th. Some nice aspects that follow, the days after that may show an increase in price. I don't believe it will go parabolic, of course, because by the end of the month, we might see another correction. Well, I hope I didn't confuse you with my predictions this month. If you have any questions or suggestions or any topics you like to talk about, let me know. Regarding other coins, I'll probably do some coins in the future. Bye.